Shoi rodo mihe la jandus noi segunma la lojben years. Hello, Lojbanistan. I'm helping out Lindar because he's terribly busy and helping is nice. Alright, quick refresher. What have we learned so far? We've learned a bunch of stuff. There's these awesome bridi, which are when we want to express a relationship. We throw out a celebrity and we go and we say, we use this thing that's like a verb but completely different, and we're going to express a relationship with it by putting sumti inside it. Just kind of like mentioning, giving and all the sumtis that are involved in giving, the giver, the thing being given, and the receiver. We throw all those sumti into those places that we want. And we build relationships, we build bridi. It's wonderful. Then we learn all sorts of random things, like what happens when you put things next to each other. You want to be able to put sumti next to each other, and they just go into place structure, because you have, sumti dunda, sumti. And so you have something going into the place structure, something going to the place structure, something going to the place structure. You put those sumti next to each other, they're different places. You put celery next to each other, and you get tanru. You have celery, and this one modifies this one, and you take the place structure of this one. Okay, that's not terrible. In fact, very handy. Then we learn about, rotating things around. We can move the place structure with ba, se, zohe. We learned about expressing emotion with shni maho. And lastly, the way I'm going over this, not in the order you learned it, the big one that's important for what we're going to talk about now is lo and ku. So we've been doing bracketing lo and ku, bracketing around a celery to turn it into a sumti. And this is the sort of concept we want to get the hang of, because we're going to do cool things like it, but completely different. So be sure you've hit all the wave lessons as much as you like. Look over the text, review things, be solid, because we're going to hit the ground running. Alright. Lojban's all about all these base words. Base words like dunda and pliset for giving and apple. We want to be able to use these base words for all sorts of things. We've already done idunda, imi dunda, I give, ido dunda, you give, mi dunda ti, I give something here. We have all these things. You can talk about stuff that's going on. Ilo dunda ku, we get the giver. Lo se dunda ku, we talk about the thing being given. Lo te dunda ku, we talk about the receiver. So now we can talk about actual objects that are described in the world. Well, this is cool. Alright. Well, what if we want to do something even fancier? We want to talk about an abstract idea. Alright? Ideas, events, properties, all these sorts of things start going under abstraction with big, bold, flashing letters. So we're going to introduce you to Suhu and K. Suhu, K. Alright. These things, Suhu and K, are like lo and ku, except they bracket something completely different. Lo and ku bracketed a celery and turned it into a sumti. Right? Well, we're going to want to bracket a whole bridi, a whole relationship, and turn it into a celery, into a relationship in and of itself. So, for example, if I bracket do dunda, so I say suhu do dunda ke. Now I'm talking about this generalized abstraction about you giving. It could be the event of you giving, the you givingness, a property of you giving. It could be an amount of you giving. It could be the very idea of you giving. All those sorts of ideas. are encapsulated in abstraction, and Suhu is the generalized abstractor. It encompasses all of them, and even ones we haven't even thought of yet. Okay, well that's cool, that's cool. Alright, well, what can we do with it? Well, now we have a celery. So we can say it has a place structure for starters. It's Suhu's is starting with x1 is the abstraction, generalized abstraction of this whatever breed in way x2. All that aside, so this means if you somehow could point at an abstraction, you could say iti suhu do dunda ke, but you can't really point at abstractions generally, so that doesn't seem very useful. But we'll get to why it's important in a sec. But they can do anything a celery could do. So that means tanru. That was the thing with celery. You put a celery next to a celery, you get a tanru. Well, what if we talk about I suhu mi shitka, me eating, ke dunda? Well, I bracketed mi shitka in suhu and ke, so now I'm talking about an abstraction about me eating. And then I say type of dunda. It's a tanru. It's the me eating type of dunda. It's some giving having to do with me eating, which is really strange in this context, but who knows, maybe that could be useful in you trying to say something sometime. It'll come up. Even more important is we can do anything a celery could do. So this means now we've taken a breedy and brought it down to a celery, we can take a celery and bring it down to a sumti. And that's where the power really comes in. So now we're like, okay, imi nelshi. I like. I want to talk about things I like. Okay, imi nelshi. Imi nelshi lo pliseku. I like apples. I do like apples. They are delicious. Imi nelshi lo shitkaku. I like eaters. Ooh, that did not sound like I said what I intended to. I probably want the abstraction. I don't want to talk about me liking eaters or like the things being eaten. I want imi nelshi lo suhu shitka ke ku. That was lo suhu ke ku. You have to terminate both of them. Alright, well that's neat. What did I say? Oh right. I like some abstraction about eating. Maybe I like to eat. Maybe I like the amount of eating, you know. So that probably seems pretty vague. And it should, because it's suhu. It's the generalized abstractor. There are specific abstractors. Things where all those specific things I've been vaguely hinting at. But suhu is encompassing all of them, and even the ones we can't think of yet. Okay. So what's a specific one? Nu. Nu is used all the time. It's for events and states. Okay. So, example. So let's say we want to say, you're eating, and I like that. Oh, ido shitka imi nelshi. Oh, you're eating, I like. Could get the point across. However, what if we want to be more clear? We can take doshitka, package it up with I nu doshitka ke. Now we packaged it up into a celery, brought breedy down to celery. Alright, cool. Alright, now we say, pack it up again, say, lonu doshitka ke ku. Okay, packed it up again. Now we have brought celery down to sumti. Okay? Alright. Now let's throw it in. We're going to throw it in as a sumti. I mi nelshi lo nu doshitka ke ku is I like you eating. I like the event of you eating. I like the state of you eating. That sort of idea. So that's the intent. That's the way you use it. Other ones include ka for property. Imi nelshi lo ka doshitka ke ku would be I like your eatingness. I like the vague abstract idea of the property of you eating that property is cool. I like that. How about ni? I minelshi lo ni doshitkakeku. I like the amount of you eating. I like the quantity. You say you're eating a lot. Ooh, I like that. I say you've been trying to lose weight and you're talking to me about how good you're keeping to your diet, and I could say imi nelshi lo ni do shitkakeku. I like the amount you're eating. Good job. Proud of you. And then another common one is siho for the idea abstractor. Imi nelshi lo siho do shitkakeku is I like the idea of you eating. That's a cool idea. You eating. Isn't that interesting? Okay. So there's a bunch of abstractors, and you can probably start seeing how they're pretty powerful. But before you go and forth and go crazy with abstractions, here's a pro tip. So let's say you're going through things, and you're like, you know what? I migleki. I am happy. I migleki. Lo nu mishitka keku. I am happy about me eating. There's a cool thing about this. So if I were saying that, Lojban, if you're starting to get the hang of Shnimaho, you should kick yourself and be like, oh man, I could have said iwi mishitka. And there, bam, 4 words, and you just expressed everything of that other abstraction, which was big, long, and complicated. But now it's just, I'm happy about what me eating. So this is why Shnimaho are pretty widely considered awesome. Zanzaha, awesome. Because, well, they're just cool. They can rip apart abstractions. They can express so much with just one little, 2-letter word. So we like them. So all that aside, you now know about abstractions. You know how to bring a whole breed and encapsulate it and bring it into your sentence, into your jufra as really core, awesome things. And you can now say a lot. Have fun.